Okay, there we go. We're back. Having some internet issues today. I hope you got to see a little bit of that. I was just playing a little slide through my Marshall here. We're going to be doing some Marshall fun stuff this weekend. I'm going to be working on some new IRs and getting some things together for us this weekend for some recording and everything like that. So let's see here. Kevin's here. Kevin was here first. Good to see you, man. How you doing? Jason's here. Hey, Dean. Good to see you. David's in here. Awesome. Jason says, starting to feel like I'm at a meeting. Yeah. Hello, I'm addicted to play guitar. Hey, man, me too. I'm addicted to it too. I was looking forward to this today. Got the allergies hitting me today, and it just kind of sucks. So I thought this would be fun. Take my mind off it, everything like that. Dean says, I've never tried slide. Slide is different. It's interesting. Let's talk about slide before we get into our open position scales today a little bit, since what I'm doing is playing slide in standard tuning. Usually, you think of slide as being an open tune thing, where you have a chord all the way across the strings. What I'm doing with slide, the first thing you do with slide is you play on top of the frets, not behind the frets like you would if you would press your finger down. But what I'm doing is finding places in chords that line up next to each other. So let's see if I can get this going here. In an E major chord, a G-shaped chord, you've got two places where everything lines up. You've got the top two notes, and then you have these three, kind of like the open strings in a G chord. So anywhere we have a chord where you've got two strings that are, in line with two notes that are in line with each other. And that's kind of the, other than playing single notes, that's kind of the thought process for playing slide in standard tuning. You find the chords, you find the places where, if I was playing a B chord, I could play that part where you do the power chord, right there, those two together, or up here on the top two strings. It's pretty fun to do. It takes a little bit of time to figure it out, though. Jason says, "Do it." I bought a slide and now it sits on my desk. Hey, mine are usually broken. I use glass slides and they usually fall down. Jason says, "Open tuning, go nuts. It's fun." There was a glitch in the matrix. For some reason, my internet just started going out. Let's see here. It says, I didn't get a notification on Discord. That's, Discord's fun. Discord's fun. I was having fun. I haven't had time to get in there today. But I was looking through, I think you guys were up early this morning. Kevin and Evan were in there. I took a look at that. There we go. Should have taken the blue pill. And Evan says, I'm coming to love that Marshall sound. Yeah. This one, the Marshall that we're listening to today is the Vintage Modern, Marshall Vintage Modern, which has the KT66 tubes in it. And the cab we're playing through is one of these two notes cabs. It's called Corrosion. It's a 412 type cabinet, and with it just says loaded with Celestion speakers, whatever those are. I'm going to be buying some York Audio IRs this maybe tonight or maybe this weekend, and we're going to test them out over the weekend and find the best sounding Marshall. I'm thinking that I should start limiting myself. So I'm thinking about just using my DSL 50 and getting a bunch of tones with that to record with. It has a lot of different things you can do with the DSL 50, especially for recording. So I'm thinking we'll switch to the other Marshall, the head, and we'll get a bunch of IRs and test those out first, and then we'll start, going through some boost pedals for it. I have a let me see if you can see a DS1 ahead of this. I'm not using it right now. Let's see what it sounds like. And here it is. It's okay. I'm not so sure with this speaker cabinet. Here, let's try a different speaker cabinet. This is the heavy dry. Let's try where's that orange one? Changing the speaker cabinet changes a lot there. Let's see if we can find something else there. What's another? Warm rhythm humbucker. Let's see what that is. So this is vintage 30 speakers. That's with the DS1. That's kind of nice. Get some high end off of that. Yeah, we're going to mess around with some stuff like that this weekend. Evan says, let's encourage Kevin to buy a semi-hollow body. Okay, do it, man. Do it. It says it growls, in a way other amps that might play on the edge of clean don't really, at least to my understanding. Yeah, it's different. It takes pedals different. And the ones I have are the Marshalls that sound nice at not like killing you levels. The DSL 50, you can get sound very nice at a very normal level. And same with the vintage modern. The 1987X and all the even the 50 watt and then the old Plexi stuff, they're so loud in a lot of the venues that I was playing when I was buying Marshalls. I'm looking at them right now. These were much, these were better. Plus the DSL 50 was a backline amp. Every time I'd play somewhere I could get one. So I kind of got used to him, and I actually modded mine a little bit. I don't really remember what I did, but we're going to be using that this weekend. We're going to get some cool stuff. Jason says, I'm still debating on the two different captors. I want the X for the app, but I already have an IR loader, and the regular captor is half the price of the X. I have to figure out what ohm rating too. So if I got the 8 ohm rating, because my you can start at 8 and go down. So my Fenders are all at like 4, right? So I can do all my Marshalls and all my Fenders. The problem is those crate amps that the Palomino amps that I really like. It's the same guy that makes the Magnetone amps now. He was working for Crate, did these awesome amps. Then they went under, and he went over and started Magnetone. So it's the same amp without some of the bells and whistles. And I've got 2 of them. I've got a little 16 watt right there. But that one is 16 ohms. I can't do that. So I went with the 8 because it matches nice. The Marshalls can do any of them. They have plugs in the back for anything. So I don't know, and I didn't know what if I didn't. That's what I did. Hopefully I did the right thing. He said probably an 8. That's what I did. I did the 8 too. Yeah, I've got some IR stuff. I've got the oh, what is that? Here it is. I've got this little radar IR loader pedal that I've played around. I've got two of them actually. But I had a Behringer thing that went in between your amp and your speakers that would give you a pre-speaker out that you could use with that. But the Captor X is so much easier to do. Do it. I'll do it. Okay. Woo. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's enough gear stuff and hanging out today. We have a question and answer over in the Academy at 3. I'll cut out of here maybe 10 minutes early, something like that. I was worried with the allergies. I wasn't going to feel so good, but I'm doing fine. In the audio podcast today, we're talking about open position scales. Open position scales. Scales that use open... Here, let me turn this. What's the that's like the Jackson 5, but like what Interstate Love Song uses open position scales. The Black Crows, She Talks to Angels, even though that's an open tuning, it uses that whole part is an open position scale, even though it's in a different tuning. A lot of the chicken picking guys, they'll be playing up here, and you'll be hearing and all of those open strings in their pedal tones are let's see, pedal tones are not open position scales, but they use open strings in different ways. It's what's the AC/DC one that everybody plays, that Thunderstruck, right? That uses an open note in there. Let's see here. Dean just says, for some reason, I'm no longer getting notices about the podcast. Which, for what? For YouTube? For these lives? Or for the audio podcast? Thunderstruck, right. Yeah, so that it's not a whole scale down open, but it's making use. The whole deal with open position scales is they make use of the open position strings. What I was playing before, this kind of little... I'm getting some places where I can do hammer-ons and pull-offs where I wouldn't be able to do that if I had voiced these licks up in a higher position right there. So there's a lot of... And plus, you get sustain, you get some bigger bass sounds, you get some... We talked about Stevie Ray Vaughan in that. He'll play a... always marking the chord with an open string as well. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with audio strings. Dean says for audio, I don't know what podcast. Where do you watch your? I don't know if it's Apple. I noticed that things are down today. Did this happen more than just today? Let me check here. There might be. I did notice a. Yeah, downloads are down today too for some reason. Maybe Apple. There's something they ask you to sign. I just saw an email for it. Let's see. Dean says I was getting 2 different emails, and for the last couple of days, nothing. I didn't send an email out today, and the day before the email that I sent out was for Discord. So that's probably what it is. But they'll start back up today. If you're talking about the emails from me. Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to, let's go over the main parts of today. So we talked about the way the guitar is set up in the podcast, and standard tuning, lots of different tunings. They call one Spanish tuning. There's a lot of different tunings, but standard tuning, for me, is the way to go. You've got fourths across the guitar, except for between the G string and the B string, which is always messing up as well too. Makes everything nice and neat and sitting in a good position. It's a good balance between scale comfort and chord comfort. We're talking about using open string notes in your scale. We talked about the sustain, the fullness, and the lows. And you don't have to fret a lot of the notes too. So it makes different licks. A lot of licks that you wouldn't be able to play at other places. In other places in the guitar possible. Add some atmosphere as well. Those ringing out notes can kind of lay down a drone note for you for a lot of different things. But the main part about it was most people ditch these. So the moment that you move to the 5-pattern system and realize that everything shifts, then everyone forgets about these open position scales. I mean, they really are the same thing. It's just one of those patterns that happens to fall here. And it's much easier to not deal with them. You can just think of your patterns, just play it up at the 12th fret and start on the next one higher, right? But the thing is, as you start learning a lot of solos and transcribing, what I found was my favorite players all use open position for their benefit. Open position scales are incredibly important. And if you look at like Clapton, when he does the acoustic stuff, especially where he doesn't have access to some really, really high stuff, it does a lot of things down there in open position as well. So it's something. The real main point of this is the video where I'm going to be teaching the open position scales and where to use them and some cool things to do with them. But the podcast point of this is to get you to revisit them and to start thinking, where in a solo can I make use of some of these open strings? Okay, because that's the whole point of these open strings. How can I use these to my advantage, even if it's the easiest one, the D. If you're in the key of D, right? That seems people usually in the key of G too. You hear that? Jimmy Page, right? That's a lot of those cool fast trills and open are using open position strings too. So that was one of the things that I really wanted to get across, and especially in a lot of my students, is don't forget these open positions. There's some really cool stuff in there. Evan says, when I started learning on my own so many years ago, I literally, didn't know there was such a thing as an open position scale. Someone handed me tab of position 1, and I thought that was how they all work. Well, it's just one of those patterns, right? But you're so far down. You're so far down here. So let's just take on the key of A. Now, if we were to take that one half step back, would be an A flat. Here we are. We're starting to get closer to that. So we have one open string. Let's take pattern 1 and move back one more. Now we're in open position. And basically where we would use our first finger is taken care of by the nut. So now we're in G, pattern 1. Now we can't go back here for this F sharp. We can't go back behind the nut for that. So we're going to use that on the string before. So it's really, it's not a departure from the 5 pattern scales, but it's a really, really worthwhile investment in time in figuring those out. That was the key of G. Dean says, so would it be a 6th position? No, that's pattern 1. This is still pattern 1 in the key of G. We just have to modify it to get this note that would come back farther. So it's the same thing as playing up here at the 12th fret. So you see everything that's your first finger, pattern 1 G at the 12th, where your first finger's at the 12th fret, pinky. We have all of those first fingers going across the 12th fret. We do have to go back to the 11th here. So if it was open, so we didn't have to go back behind where the nut would be back here. We'd have to go up higher on a D string. So you'd still consider it a pattern 1, but it's been modified so that we can incorporate the open strings there too. Because it still goes to pattern 2 next. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Okay. Coke's here. Coke says, just got in. Lunch every day seems to fight with the timing for this. Yeah, I've got, we have lunch, and then I have math for homeschool that we do, and I cut out 15 minutes early to go set this up here. So yeah, it's the middle of the day's got a lot of stuff going on. Definitely does. Okay, so then we'll just start talking about multiple keys. Going through different keys, playing. I just did G and let's see, C is the easy one. Pattern 4. E and A are cool too. Let's see here. That's a 3-note per string version if I did it at the 12th fret. Let's see here. Yeah, so E, Dean, E would be a little different as well. So it's going to be a modified pattern 3. Let's see here. Here's 1, 2. The open E one would be more of like a 3-note per string. It's a modified pattern, pattern 3 to pattern 4. So here, I'll do it up close here. So we're going to say open E, F sharp, G sharp, open A, B, C sharp, D sharp, first fret, E. F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C, C sharp, D sharp, E. Yeah, so you could play it exactly like pattern 3 if you wanted to. You could play it open, that's the borrowed note from pattern 2, then 1 3 4, 1 3 1 2 4 1 2 4 1 3 4 1 3 4. So you could play the open E as pattern 3. What a lot of people do is they won't go to this pinky here. They won't go to this pinky here in pattern 3. They'll use the open string for that, which effectively makes it one of the... And what a lot of folks will do is use the high open E as well. When I do the video, I will make sure to have all sorts of really cool scale sheets for these as well. Let's see here. Coke says, my open scales notes idol is Eric Johnson. Yeah, he flies around the open position too. He's also my favorite for playing fast pentatonic scales. No one does that. Well, he did. I saw him do a whole thing where he bounces his pick. You know, Joe Bonamassa does that too, but Eric Johnson's it's smooth to the point of almost perfection. See, Jason says, I would like to point out that there are 5 people in here and only 2 likes. Yeah, come on, man. Middle of the week or close to the end of the week, things are starting to slow down a little bit here. That's okay. They'll pick back up next week. Dean says, when I first started when I was a kid, I would see how fast I could play the C open position cleanly. Yeah. Yep. That C open position was a lot of the Mel Bay books, you know, all of the songs that they played there. That was a starting point for those. I remember when I had those books. That was the first open position I learned was C as well. Jason says, help Lee win against the algorithm. I think what'll happen with this is what happened before when the COVID thing was going on at first, was it started off slow like this at first and started building and building and building. So that's fine. That's fine with me. I'm just going to keep it up for a while. At the end of the 30 days, I may take a few days off. Just saying. Just saying. So the question for this week is, have you found that you frequently use open position scales in your playing? And I think that the answer with that might be 50-50. I think so. The point of that's a loaded question. The point for me is to get you to start thinking about open position as well and taking advantage of these open strings too. For rhythm guitar, lead guitar, both, open position strings can really help things go well. Okay, so it's 2:43 in a few minutes. I'm going to cut out and get ready for our Q&A over in the Academy. That video is, that window is already up there. I put that up last night. And that's probably why I didn't get to the email today, because I was doing that in the middle of the night, getting all that ready. But tomorrow will be different. We'll have a good, let's see here. We'll have a good end to the week, and then have some fun over the weekend too. So if anybody has any questions before I head over to start that up, let me know. And it's great to see everybody. Jason and Dean and Coke, Evan, and I know Kevin's there. I think I saw David in here earlier. I think I did. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not today. Yeah, yes. There he was right there. Sup. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and head on over and get set up over on the other side there. And you guys can all come over too. I know I've got one really good question that I saw earlier today. We may have may have more in the comments up there since then. I'm going to get those loaded up. And I will see you over in the Academy. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.